All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Crockett and Bus Show. It's great to be here.
It's fantastic to be here.
Fantastic weather, right?
Fantastic weather, but I'm not feeling so good. I'm sniffles.
Yeah. Well, that spring fever kind of can put you down sometimes when you get the cold.
Yes.
I feel you. But happy to be here. Beautiful weather, and we'd also love to dedicate this show to the city of Boston. 2 years ago, as everybody would know about the Boston bombing, justice has been served this past week with Zonayev, however you pronounce his name, one of those wacky names. But we are very proud how the city can still stay strong, and this show is dedicated to the city of Boston. Great day. Is at 2:49 today, the Boston Red Sox are going to have a moment of silence for the victims from the Boston Marathon that lost their lives, for the victims that did get injuries throughout that marathon. A good dedication today for sure. And more importantly, how about those Red Sox? We can say that right there.
I had a great time. I was at the game last night. That crowd is rocking. The fans are ready. We're ready.
Absolutely.
I mean, this team is really exciting. You know, everything that they've put together in the offseason, now it's finally in front of us. Baseball is back in Boston. I think we're just happy about that.
Absolutely. And nobody's been hanging their heads as well throughout last season. Last season was a glitch. Last season you can just forget about, absolutely.
Yeah.
As Boston fans, as much as we are, as big fans, as we follow, the Red Sox, you can't hang your head on last season. You
Nope.
just can't. You got to move forward each year for those players. Those guys knew it too. Maybe they had a little hangover last year from their 2013 campaign as well. So, yeah, it was really, really tough last year. You lost Lester, you lost Lackey, you lost PV. I mean, look at all the guys they lost. That pitching rotation was a stacked pitching rotation.
Look at this year's Buchholz, Porcello, Wade Miley, Justin Masterson, Joe Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of people would be like, who the heck are these guys? A lot of the names they would always think is, Buchholz, because he's been the veteran guy in that rotation.
Yep. So, to me, I think this Red Sox team is on point. Starting off 6-2, they can sweep the Nationals today. I know this is probably going to be listened to after the game's played. So, but we're before the game, obviously. Good win last night for the Red Sox on Tuesday night, as they defeated the Nationals 8-7. We'll get into that a little bit later. But before we get into all the Red Sox and South baseball, I remember the Boston Marathon like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I remember exactly what I was doing. I was in the car, with my grandmother, and we were listening. She was listening to WBZ, and all of a sudden we interrupt the special news report. There's just been an explosion at the Boston Marathon finish line, and no one knew what was going on. Maybe something exploded, and no one knew.
Yep.
But then as a few hours came later, we learned that it was a bomb. It was a pressure cooker bomb. That's what they call it. And there were multiple different locations of where they were hidden. And, I mean, the first thing I thought of was, terrorism, terrorist attacks. Where else is this happening? Is this just our minds were spiraling, and we had no idea what was going. And
this was around what, our sophomore year?
Yep, sophomore
year of high school.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
I remember watching. I was actually watching the game in Mr. Anderson's classroom. Our health teacher here at Nashville South he's lucky enough to have the TV on in his health room, and it was on Patriots. Because the Red Sox had a game that day.
11:05 a.m. Every Patriots Day.
Every Patriots Day, the Red Sox had a game, and right after the game, the marathon was going on. The Red Sox had a nice big walk-off hit. It was Mike Napoli, I believe, that had the nice big hit. And then later on that year, actually, I went to see them play in the postseason, and the atmosphere was crazy. I've never just seen a city just stand so strong. Granted, back in 2001 with 9/11, how New York stayed strong after that horrific terrorist attack as well, but even right on that marathon line, I mean, from instant, people were ready in action.
Yep.
You got the police force, fire department. They were ready. They were right there, because that's the city of Boston. They're going to help each other in time of needs, in such a big city like that as well.
Yep.
That's what makes me proud to be a New Englander, knowing that you're going to have people right beside you. I mean, I was in tears too.
Oh, I was in tears too. Yep.
Seeing that and watching it on TV all day, I mean, you just cannot.
You couldn't take
in
your eye off the
situations like that,
TV.
you just cannot take your eyes off the TV in situations like that.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, what the heck is going on? What happened? You're trying to find all the evidence. I mean, all you see is just a giant smoke arise in the air, and then just something popped. Like, it was
So
unbelievable.
I want to just remember that a lot of you know me. I mean, Boston is my city. I mean, that's you too. I wouldn't rather be anywhere else than Boston. I mean, I talk about Boston all the time. I want to live there when I grow up, for crying out loud. So I love Boston, everything about it. And just the way that day happened, like you said, tears. I mean, you couldn't help but cry.
Yeah.
That day was so horrific.
No.
And now 2 years later, we're stronger than ever.
Absolutely.
And the way this community, the way this city has come together. And do you remember the Bruins game?
Yes,
when
that
the
was
national anthem,
really, really.
that was so touching. And I just think that, it's not just sporting events. It's, the Red Sox, Bruins, Patriots, Celtics. And then you go down the city, you see memorials everywhere. You see, like, everyone's just fascinated.
This is our
with Boston.
effing city.
This is our city.
And nobody going to dictate our freedom. That is just one sentence wrapped up in the city of Boston right
Yes.
there. That sentence said it all
Yeah.
when Big Papi got on that microphone. I was watching that game, too. The uniforms were awesome. It said Boston. Papi goes up. Today, a uniform, it don't say Red Sox. It say Boston. And he just went off and said, this is our bleeping city. That was fantastic. And you can't get mad at him for saying that.
No.
You just can't, because
And
in a time of need, if something like that happened, you don't care what's gonna you don't care what nobody's gonna say. You don't care what's gonna happen.
I remember hearing the TV people, I forget what they're called, the people who make the rules on what you can do on TV. and can't.
Director, producers,
Yes,
yeah.
they said, you know what? Don't even cut that off. Let it play.
I
Because
know.
that is the heart. That's coming from the heart. It wasn't a script. He didn't read it off something. He wasn't like, this is art. No, that was from the heart. That was what he wanted to say. That's what everyone was thinking.
I love that, man.
mean-
I jumped from my seat and I was just like, F yeah, like, rated G. I was like, heck yeah, man, like, let's go. And they, Daniel Nava ends up hitting that big hit in right field. That season just wrapped it up, and you can never forget that memorable season.
And that's why they won't lose today.
No,
You
it's
can't.
gonna be a hard time for them to lose. I think this season. With that lineup, look at Mookie Betts.
We'll get into him
We're
after the
getting to him
commercial
too.
break.
That just shows how strong a team can play. Granted, yes, it's pretty upsetting that the Boston Bruins didn't make the playoffs this year. I know.
All eyes on the Red Sox.
I know that's really sad for you, but
Yeah.
hey, good news, they fired Pete Chiarelli, so that's one thing.
Petrelli,
Another
Lucic could be
thing.
gone.
Another thing that's good for the city of Boston today, as well. I think everybody knows that. And
Aaron Hernandez.
and we can. There's so much to happen today.
Yep.
We can wrap it up. Is that we're adding on to the Aaron Hernandez trial, as he was pleaded guilty. Justice was served for that. Pete Chiarelli getting fired from the Boston Bruins.
Full life sentence, and you got a lifetime sentence, and what was it?
There was three counts on him. Automatic life sentence, and there's no parole. But the city of Boston, this was more of Hernandez versus the Commonwealth of Boston, rather than it being Hernandez versus the federal. Being a federal, it didn't go that higher as the Zarneff trial.
Yep.
So, in Massachusetts, there is no death penalty.
Yeah.
But since that Zarneff was tried in Boston, or he was tried in Massachusetts, since it was at a federal level, there will be a death sentence for him later on down the road. It's more of how high the crime was. It's for something that's Aaron Hernandez. Yeah, that's probably, you never know. They could move him out. Maybe they could. I mean, they did try him in Boston. They did tried him in Massachusetts, I should say. And obviously there is no death penalty. But in a case if he was tried here in New Hampshire, then he would have gotten the death penalty, because we're a little bit more different rules and laws with Commonwealth of
I mean,
Massachusetts.
this story goes even deeper. Like, I don't want to get into the deeps of it because we have a lot to get to. They're saying that if he gets the death penalty or something like that, they're gonna come back on America or whatever. It's
There could be instances where he'll
They're gonna
be on
make
death row
tax.
for years. Yeah,
they said they want to make a tax if they do that to him,
Yeah.
and it's like, you murdered people in Boston. You put the
Yeah.
city of Boston through that, and you're not gonna expect to, You know what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
It's-
absolutely. I think
I
I
expect
think
that.
he had it coming to him too. Watching that news conference today and watching it all that jazz, I saw it coming. By the look on his face, like he knew that he was gonna go to prison. I knew it.
And so we all hope he gets the death penalty. I mean, as Bostonians,
Yeah.
that's what he deserves.
Justice is being served. I'm proud of that. And justice was served last night for the Boston Celtics too.
Yes.
Jay Crowder.
Not too happy about that one. I'm happy they won the game, but I'm not happy that they're playing the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round. Wouldn't you rather play? I mean, they could have played Toronto the first round. They could have played Atlanta. They could have played Chicago. But no, they're going to play the Cleveland Cavs and get destroyed.
Let's put up a fight against.
Oh, LeBron has his
against
struggles
King
in Boston.
James.
I mean,
Let's
there's
put
no
up a
doubt about
fight.
that. He has his struggles in Boston. But can the Celtics beat the Cavs? And that's not an easy yes to say, as much as it would be for Atlanta.
For me, I think it could go either 5 or 6 games.
5 or 6?
Five or
I
six.
say 5.
With a healthy Isaiah
Avery
Thomas
Bradley's
dropping
hurt now.
like 30
They're
points.
They're saying Avery Bradley could be back, but he's injured now. So
Avery Bradley will be back. Come on, it's Avery Bradley. You gotta love Avery Bradley.
yes.
You gotta love Jay Crowder too. I love Jay Crowder.
All right, so we're gonna head to the quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna talk some Red Sox, South baseball, a little bit of the Celtics. We'll be right back here on National South Sports Radio.
All right. The students of Nashua High School South don't daydream of success in class. They raise their chins high and walk forward to what they want to achieve. That's why in our house, the Panthers roar and our students soar.
People don't play sports because it's fun.
Ask any athlete. Most of them hate it, but they couldn't imagine their life without it.
It's part of them, the love-hate relationship. It's what they live for.
They live for the practices, cheers, long bus rides, invitationals.
Countless pairs of different types of shoes, water, Gatorade, and coaches you hate but appreciate.
They live for the way it feels when they beat the other team.
And knowing the 2 extra sprints they ran at practice were worth it.
They live for the way they become a family with their team.
They live for the countless songs they sing in their head while training all those hours.
They live for the competition.
They live for the friends, the practices, the memories.
The pain, it's who they are.
It's who we are. We are Panthers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crockle and Bus Show. We had a lot to talk about. Wrapping up sports, a nice short segment, doesn't get any better than that.
No.
Especially, look at how I look today. I got my
The
freedom,
next big Jim Murray.
on.
The next big Jim Murray.
I got-
Stand up. Show the camera everything.
It just looks good right here. Come on.
We
Ladies,
had,
come on, look at this.
We
This
had
is
Jim
unbelievable.
Murray. Jim Murray actually tweeted us. I'll pull it up right here. We tweeted at him. We said, the next big Jim Murray on National South Sports Radio. And he ended up tweeting back right here. Never mind the hat. That's that shirt. Wait. Let me read it. Never mind the hat. That's the shirt that could make any woman weak in the knees.
So shout out to Big Jim Murray from 985 The Sports Hub.
I look up to
I
guys
like it.
Jim Murray,
Those are awesome.
As Toucher and Rich, so I
Hey.
I look up to them all.
They're looking at look at what we're doing right now.
Yep. And Tony Maz, even
And Tony
responded to us
Maz,
that
look
we're
at
doing
that.
What we're doing, keep going.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Doesn't get any better than that. But what doesn't get any better than that is the Red Sox 6-2, the Celtics in the playoffs, and
National South Baseball opened
almost
up
pulled
yesterday.
it off yesterday.
Yeah.
But it's one game. You guys, like you said, you can't put your heads down. Let's start off with National South Baseball.
That was a really, really tough game. Not saying that in a negative way, but we played tough. I'll give you a scenario here, okay? Bottom of the 5th inning comes around. We're down 7-2.
Yep.
7-2. And there's 2 outs.
Tell everyone how many innings you play. In case they don't
We
know.
played 8 innings.
Well,
We had
there's seven
we
is
played 7
regulation.
innings, and we went to extra innings. We ended 8 innings. It was a hard-fought battle yesterday. Okay, here's the scenario that I got. We were down 7-2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Okay, there was 2 outs. I come up to bat. I have McNulty and Chris Cruz on base. Chris Cruz advances to third, and McNulty goes to second on a steal. Okay. I'm down in the count 1-2. I fouled off a couple pitches. I swung and missed at a couple curveballs. Battled through. I had about a 6 to 7 pitch at bat right there. for myself.
Way to work
with
the pitcher's count.
And that is key, is that you want to make that pitcher throw. So he wanted to get a ball over the plate. Gave me a dead red fastball. Lined it right up the middle. Line drive right up the middle, base hit. We cut the lead 7-4. Mind you, there are still 2 outs. More men got on base. I think it was Rodolfo Acosta that scored, made it 7-5. And then more men got on base. It turned to 7-6. And then there's still 2 outs, mind you. Joe Ruthier scored me. We go back. Joe Ruthier scored me to make it 7-5. I scored from first to home. I don't think I ever ran that fast before in my life. It was unbelievable. I mean, I was hauling around third. And we made it 7-5.
Kind of like me last week in Assassins.
Yep. And then we get down. Oh, jeez. And then we get down to 7-6. Mike Habibi hits a dribbler right past the pitcher's mound. Beats it out for a single. Ties the game up 7-7. And then there were some miscues down the line towards the 7th and 8th inning. Memorial took the lead 9-7, and we lost 9-7.
Yep.
But Coach Guy, after our post-game talk, he said, "Do not hang your heads. We only had 2 practices outside."
That's incredible
because
too.
of this stupid, and we put up 7 runs. Here was the box score that we'll get that up for you in a second. But being only practicing indoors and only have 2 practices outside, that says a lot. And so here we go. So Mike Habibi went 1 for 4, or 2 for 4, I should say. 2 hits, 1 RBI, 1 walk. Our junior Ryan Pinkala goes 0 for 2. Our senior captain Josh Goulet goes 0 for 2. Chris Cruz goes 0 for 3 with a run. Pat McDonald goes 0 for 3. Owen McNulty he goes 0 for 2 actually with 2 walks. So Pat McDonald and Owen McNulty had 2 walks today on the day. I go 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs on that single up the middle. Our sophomore, Joe Ruthier, our second baseman, starting sophomore, great kid. Love him as a teammate, great kid. His debut, he goes 1 for 4, or 2 for 4, I should say, with an RBI, had to collect 2 hits. Rodolfo Acosta, he went, he went 0 for 2, I should say. 0 for 1. He had 2 runs. He was on base twice. He got walked twice, and he struck out once. So in total, our team had 26 at-bats, 7 runs, 5 hits, 6 RBIs on the day. We got walked 11 times. That shows you that in high school, you want to work those pitchers because those guys are not going to be a Clay Buckholzer or Rick Porcello. They're going to go 8 or 9 innings like Porcello did on the home opener. So that was really, really good. And we only struck out 5 times. Mm-hmm. That's saying a lot.
How many runs came in on the walks?
Oh, my goodness. I believe 3. That had been 3 runs.
Well, if you had 11 walks.
Maybe it was. I was around there. I'm not. I have a rough estimate. I would say it's around there, but that's huge for only being outside for 2 practices.
And then going out your 3rd day out on the field, the south field, and how were the conditions on the field?
And they were fine.
Were they wet? Were they?
No,
it was like a regular baseball field.
It was a regular baseball field. It was nice and dry.
If you stepped in Tampa Bay, not as great as Tampa Bay fields, but if you stepped in Tampa Bay, would it feel like that grass there? Was it like as dry, or was it still like soaky?
No. I mean, you gotta think of it. That grass is more turf.
Well, no. I meant like, is it going to be as dry as it would be in Tampa? Or
the grass
itself
was dry. I will give you that. The grass was dry. It was nice and dry. It wasn't too wet as it's been because of the snow and all the condensation, melted, whatever.
I mean, they did a good job fixing up the field too.
Just running in,
They did a good job fixing up the field too.
They did. They put a nice purple paw right behind the backstop that looked really, really nice. Really,
yep.
Because Coach Guy wants to take pride in that home field because that is our home field. That is where we're gonna play. Homan Stadium, forget about it. Homan Stadium, great historical field in Nashua. Love it. Love playing there. The North-South game, that's always a given. Even against BG, those games are always given automatically playing at Homan. But when you play games like those, like against Memorial or when we play Trinity or when they come here, you got to take pride in that field. We decked it out. You make it look nice. You want to have that swagger. Coach Guy said, you got to find that swagger on the field and off the field. That's what's going to take it to taking care of that field.
Yep.
And that's what I was really excited about. I said, you know what? Forget playing at home, and I don't need that field. I want my home field. Because Memorial did not understand how to play the outfield in right field where the highway is. that's always big because you got that sound. You got that sound of the cars driving by, and you get a deep fly ball. I mean, Micah Beebe started off opening day with a triple. I mean, he legged it out. I mean, gapped it. I mean, that thing was a gap right into right center field. Legged it out, and those guys are hard to communicate.
So you had the loss.
Yeah.
And now you come out. You have to play Thursday.
Yep.
No,
it's Friday.
Friday at Pinkerton.
Yep.
And you can listen to that on NHSS Sports Radio. Follow us right there at NHSS Center. You can see right there on Twitter.
I think they can.
If you go on there, or you can go to Spreaker. You can listen to every Nashville South varsity baseball game right here on Nashville South Sports Radio with Matt St. Hours, Tyler Gouveia, and I. We have the call. Red Sox 6-2, we've been mentioning.
Yeah.
Big 8-7 win last
You
night.
go up from high school to major leagues.
Yes.
I'm going to get drafted.
Yeah. And I said Habibi's going to get drafted to the Reds or the Red Sox.
The Reds?
Yep.
The Reds?
You see that
Cincinnati
picture?
Reds?
He looks just like Pete Rose.
Oh, stop it. No. Stop it.
So, as you all know, I was at the game last night. Great atmosphere at Fenway. Absolute great atmosphere at Fenway for that earlier in the season. Typically
absolutely.
opening day is always sold out in the next week, and then the rest of the season it's like half empty. Fenway Park, it's almost like we were at a World Series game.
Yeah.
That's how electric the crowd was. Yankees sucks chants were going on. Let's go Red Sox.
Even when they're playing the Nationals, they were going on?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
They started chanting, get A-Rod out. It's almost like
I can't wait for my first Yankee-Red Sox game this year. Man.
It was almost like Red Sox-Yankees, except it was Red Sox-Nationals. Anyway, the Red Sox came out yesterday firing. They opened up the game with a 5-1 lead, being down 1-0, came back 2-1 in the bottom of the second inning. And then, once in the third and fourth, 2 runs were scored in the third, 1 run was scored in the fourth after Dustin Pedroia's third home run of the season.
Yeah.
He's coming out great this year.
He is.
And then the Red Sox surrendered 6 runs in the top of the 5th inning, which were very bad to see, especially the way Masterson was performing the entire game. I mean, the defense was backing him up. Once the 5th inning came, Masterson just completely imploded, gave up 6 runs. Nationals took a 7-5 lead when we had a 5-1 lead. So that was very depressing.
And then it got very funky at the end. Describe how that was at the end as you're watching that game live. I mean, what's with the Nationals' errors, man?
Okay, yeah. So it was the Red Sox were down 7-5 in the 7th inning, and bases loaded. Ryan Hannigan's at the plate, and we're like, here we go. Here comes a ground out, and we saw it. It was a ground out. And all of a sudden, the pitcher, I can get the pitcher right here. It was
Thornton, wasn't it?
Trinan. Trinan came in, and he got the ground ball, had the easy out at home, and he overthrew the throw. 2 guys came in, tied the game.
It was Hanley and Victorino that came in.
Yeah, it was Hanley and Victorino, and then Brock Holt drove in a run. I believe that was him. I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it was from there. It was 8-7. And the 9th inning came, and we thought the game was over. 1 out, and then all of a sudden,
it's Koji time.
It's Koji time. But then all of a sudden, I have to remember who was at the plate when he hit this. They had to
it was Zimmerman. It was
Zimmerman.
Ryan Zimmerman.
It was Zimmerman. He was at the plate.
Hit a shot.
He was at the plate, and because they only had one camera angle, they were only showing in front of the foul pole on top of the monster. We couldn't tell if it went over the foul pole, to the left, to the right, but they determined it was a little bit to the left. What didn't completely go over the foul pole, which could have tied the game, could have gone to extra innings.
The dynamics down that line, playing in Fenway, it's 310 down that line for the Green Monster, and then you got what? 30. It's 37.5 feet around there, roughly, for the Green Monster. And you got the Casca flag sign, you got that Coca-Cola sign right there. So yeah, you look at that perspective. You hit a high shot. You hit a high shot right up there. It's so hard to tell where that ball is going to be placed on the foul line.
And it was just it was a heartbreaker too for a second there, because like Koji's
you're just
back,
sitting there. It's like, oh,
Koji's back. And when Koji
go.
came out, he got his saw. Don't
quit your day job. Don't quit your
everyone's
day job.
Koji, and then Koji's throwing the ball. 1 out, good. Zimmerman out, 2 outs, and here we go. 1 and 2, the pitch. Koji Uehara strikes him out. The place goes nuts like they won the World Series. I have the video on my phone if you want to see it after.
Oh, yeah.
I'll post. It's already on the Twitter page at NHSS Center.
Twitter page. Nice.
You can check that out. And just from there, you know that this Red Sox team has something special. The way they've come out this last – I'm not judging the season off of 1 week, but what you've seen, as promised, it's right in front of us. They're performing it. It was supposed to be Red Sox power offense is going to help win this team, and that's exactly what they're doing. If it wasn't for this offense, this pitching staff would be in a huge bind right now. And if they had no offense, they wouldn't be winning as much games as they are now. Because in each of the games, they put at least, not every game, but in most of their games, they put up 8+ runs.
Maybe if you could wrap up the day, wrap up the night with that team, it comes down to chemistry. That team is doing everything together, just compared to the 2013 World Series, their campaign.
By the way, Xander Bogaerts, his MRI did come out good, as Farrell said.
Good.
He will be starting today, or it's Wednesday today, so if you're not watching it, he'll be starting at shortstop today.
And then Pablo Sandoval
got a curveball, 80-somewhat miles an hour to the left foot. So it's a bruised left foot. It's a bruised left foot. Oh, well, 80-mile-an-hour
Yeah,
curveball.
but it's a curveball.
Anyway, so it's
I would agree if it's a fastball.
But it's early in the season.
Come on, yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
So you got to let him rest. You've already taken the first 2 games. I believe they can sweep. I really do. Yep. I don't think Gio Gonzalez is that great, and I think the Red Sox offense can hit off of that. Brock Holt should be in the lineup again. We've been saying it ever since the show started. We are in love with Brock Holt. That guy can do it all. I mean, his batting average is like, what, 6-something, 7-something?
Oh, yeah.
The guy does not fail to miss that ball.
The last time, I think last night, prior to one of his at-bats, he was 6 for 9. He already had like 5-6 RBIs. So I'm really happy to wrap up the day.
The Celtics.
The Celtics. That's how it's the Celtics.
So final 2.5 minutes, we'll talk about the Celtics.
Who would ever think that the Celtics are going to be in the first round of the playoffs?
See, that's the thing. You know what? I'm happy that they're in the playoffs, and Green runs deep, all that. But you had the chance to go against Atlanta, Toronto, Chicago, and then you end up getting stuck with Cleveland.
King James, I will say it right now on live TV. King James, we are coming for you. Whatever camera angle I'm looking at, we are coming for you.
LeBron James has his struggles in Boston.
Exactly. He chokes in Boston.
He's not that great in Boston, but when he's at home, I mean, the guy's unstoppable. You can't give him that. You can give him that. I mean, there's no way the Celtics win the series, I think. Kind of like I called it with the Bruins.
Yeah.
Yo, me and Tyler are going to go celebrate with it. We're going to raise the cup. We're going to go buy a championship T-shirts, and then we make
So to wrap up the day, who do you think out of the 2 teams, Red Sox, Celtics, who do you think is the player of the day? Who do you think was?
Of yesterday?
Of yesterday.
Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts?
No, okay, let me change that. Dustin Pedroia.
Oh.
His fielding yesterday was insane. Again,
you got to give it to Jay Crowder. You got to give it to Jay Crowder. That clutch 3-pointer in the corner with 2 defenders on him with 1/8 of a second left on the clock. Unbelievable.
Fine. I'll go Jay Crowder.
You got to go Jay Crowder.
I'll go Jay Crowder.
Mookie Betts and then Pedroia.
No. I'll go Jay Crowder, Brock Holt, Dustin Pedroia, Mookie Betts.
Wow. So
somewhere around that range.
This beautiful day. Want to give special thanks to our TV studio room here, Holly Gaudette, Kyle Reardon, and a bunch of the other staff. We're very excited to be here as well.
Very excited,
and we want to wish Boston, happiness and joy. We're really excited that justice has been served, and we have much love for that dirty water down there.
2 years strong.
2 years strong, absolutely.
Boston, you're my home.
Boston strong, more than ever.
Yes.
So I'm here. I'm Adam Buskey alongside Tom Crocco.
We are Boston.
We are Boston strong. Have a good afternoon, everybody.